Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. My name is Hunter Foreman. I'll be the pilot for this smooth ride today. Expect nothing but good vibes for your entire flight, so don't strap in and enjoy the ride on Flight 96.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Hunter Foreman. Usually when I make these episodes, I have some type of some concept to go along with it. And today, I'm going to title this episode the Untitled episode because I don't know what to title this episode because really there's a bunch of concepts going through my head. I mean, I could talk about this could be kind of like a tribute show, which if you're listening to this right now, I'm paying tribute to a man who passed away known as Mack, who made one of my favorite instrumentals, if not my favorite instrumental of all time, Flava in the Air. So that beat will be playing out through this entire episode, so enjoy that. I got a lot of things that we can talk about. One thing that I do want to get across here today on today's episode is I want to continue the conversation we had about friendship, but I want to twist it a little bit and speak from a personal side. Word of advice, people: your friends, your family, whoever you care about, they will let you know that they care about you in one way or another. I truly, wholeheartedly believe that. And those people are who you need on your side. People who will treat you the same, even if you aren't the best person to be around. And I can tell y'all right now. I mean, and I think we all do this. Sometimes I'm difficult to be around, and I have friends who let me know that you're acting real difficult right now. But excuse me. But you know what? You're my friend, and I'm gonna stick with you because I'm with you through the hard times. And sometimes you need those friends, and sometimes you need to know what people aren't going to be on your side. And as of late, I've learned who is on my side, and I've learned who's not. And I think we all go through those moments, and sometimes we just we either roll with the punches or we sit and complain. And I've learned to not sit and complain, and I try to be as honest and as truthful as possible. So when I'm with my friends, we keep it a buck at all times, and that's with anybody. If I meet you, I will, like, what you see is what you get. When I meet you, what you see is what you get. It's exactly who I am. I don't put on a front for anybody. I said this to myself a while ago, and that's what would you do if you met your favorite celebrity, your favorite artist? And I said I would treat them like the same, because I feel like celebrities want to be normal people, and normal people want to be celebrities. And I know this kind of veered off into a different subject, but let's get into that. Being normal has its disadvantages, and being a celebrity has its disadvantages. And of course, being normal has its advantages, and being a celebrity has its advantages. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. That's a very bold statement. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't want to be famous. I know a lot of people say that, but I really don't. I don't really want to be famous. I'd rather be just a normal cog in the system, because I feel like famous people have so much pressure on themselves. Either it's put by management, either it's put by friends, or most of the time it's by themselves. It's put on by themselves. They have painted this picture for their fans or their peers that they try to live up to all the time, and sometimes it just doesn't fit, and they want to remove the facade, but their peers and their fans find some way to uphold it. I watched the Freaky Friday Lil Dicky Chris Brown music video. By the way, that is one of the most creative music videos I've ever seen. Why nobody has taken the concept of Freaky Friday and made it not only into a song, but a great music video. Shout out to Lil Dicky and Chris Brown, man. Very talented song. I think it benefits both parties. But sometimes I wish I could be somebody else just to see what it's like, sometimes I wish to be, my favorite rapper, Joey Badass, just to see what his thinking process is for all the great music he's made. Sometimes I want to be my favorite actor of all time, Will Smith, just to see what kind of creative thinking he goes through. Sometimes I want to be one of my friends, just to see what, how they see either me or how they see other people and what they go through on a day-to-day basis. Because no matter how many times you're with your friends, whether you live with them, whether you spend every waking moment with them, whether you hang out all the time, you really never know what somebody's going through. You really don't. It doesn't matter how much they tell you. You never know what somebody's going through. And to tie that with the whole being a celebrity thing, and normal versus celebrity, I think that if you were to ask any A-list celebrity if they could be a normal person for one day, I think they would absolutely take it, without a shadow of a doubt. I think they could sincerely sit there and say, I want to be a regular person once. I mean, I've seen teenage stars says I missed out on being normal, and that's a big deal. They were pushed into the spotlight at a young age, and they weren't able to grow up like everybody else did. They didn't, have go through, the normality of high school, of being in social groups and going to high school parties. While all that is, cool for a while, it's only temporary. It's like a flash in the pan. So when I look at, teenage stars like Justin Bieber and those One Direction dudes, I mean, I figure they wish they could have went, had a regular high school life and just be normal and just be regular. And I feel sorry for them sometimes because, they can't go to Starbucks without 5 million people trying to ask them questions. Again, that's another thing why I can't be a celebrity, man. I don't want a bunch of random people I don't know with cameras showing up to my house to ask me what's going on with my life, and why I'm not talking to this person, and why did I break up with my girlfriend, and blah blah blah. I don't need that. That's none of your business. That's between me and me, or me and that person. Like, when I look at media outlets like TMZ and World Star and Baller Alert and Media Takeout, I'm kind of disgusted, because literally these are people who have nothing to do with their lives, than stick their nose in other people's businesses. That's all it is. But hey, they make money off of it, so I really cannot knock that. But my thing is this. If you have the gall to drive a certain amount of a certain distance to a celebrity's house, knowing damn well that you aren't welcome there, and try to get pics with your camera for your website, for TMZ, for Baller Alert, for World Star, for Media Takeout, you really don't care about your life in the first place, because you care about somebody else's even more. You see, I'm going to school to be a journalist, but not like these guys. Those guys aren't even journalists. I just call them just nosy people. I want to be a guy who sits across from the top hip hop stars of today and ask them the real questions, not who they're dating, not what's going on with this person, or what's up with this charge, this mugshot that popped up on Twitter. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the creative process behind the great song that you just came out with, or the great album that you just put together and are fixing to release in the next couple of days. Or you just released the album and you're fixing to go on tour. What's next? What's the concept behind this tour? What happened to that? I want to know what happened to that. What happened to you wanting to be... What happened to just doing what your job says and not being a nosy person? You know, you got people like DJ Academics and the people at Everyday Struggle. While they cover hip hop, as much as I think that... I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. The girl at Everyday Struggle. It'll come to me. I know Star is there and DJ Academics, but I can't remember the girl's name. She seems like a very nice person too. You see, like, people like DJ Academics who literally posts videos of rappers that are on Instagram that has nothing to do with their music. Sometimes it has to do with their music, but most of the time it has to do with, you know, they got arrested, or they're beefing with this rapper, or they unfollowed this person on Instagram. Like, I don't care about that. That's their personal lives. In the end, you have to think that they're all humans too. We don't have to know celebrities' personal lives. Isn't that what it is now? Isn't being a celebrity like having all of your business out there? Like, do we have to know all the Kardashian family business? Do we have to know what Instagram picture that Kim just posted? Do we have to know what's going on with Chloe's pregnancy? Do we have to know that? I don't think so, because if they were normal people, that's between them. We wouldn't be nosy in their business. I think we've lost. I just think that secrecy is, well, becoming extinct now, because we got social media and Snapchat and people getting their phones hacked, and certain pictures leaking out on the internet and certain videos, and certain songs are getting leaked, and there's no such thing as secrecy. While I, sometimes post videos of, that shed light on my personal life, I don't let people fully in. I don't. I may wear my emotions on my sleeve, but I also respect myself enough to keep certain things locked up and not to speak about certain things, because it's really just nobody else's business. Not to say that it's bad, but it's just not anybody else's business. To be honest, right now I'm single. But if I was in a relationship, I wouldn't post about my significant other. I'd rarely post about them because that's between me and this person. It isn't. Relationships shouldn't be publicized. They shouldn't be just plastered everywhere. You know, like I read an article, which I hope this isn't true, that Logic and his wife are getting a divorce. That's sad to me. That's very sad because I feel like those two are some of the most positive people I've ever seen on the internet. Jess, who is Logic's wife, has started up her own music career, is wanting to be in the pop scene, and I give her all the credit. Logic, who's just released Bobby Tarantino 2, which was an amazing mixtape, with great production and lots of lyrics, and showing us another cocky, confident side of Logic as the artist. But this is also what makes me disgusted about this. The evidence that they have that says that Logic and Jess are getting a divorce is that Logic's wife unfollowed him on Instagram. See, let me break that down let's break that down for a little bit. Since when was unfollowing somebody on social media such a harsh move? I unfollow people on social media all the time, but I don't have a personal vendetta against them. I'm not mad at them. I just don't want to see their stuff anymore. It's as simple as that. If I have a problem with what they're posting, then yeah. But most of the time, it's like I don't want to see this anymore. It's the same stuff every time. But with the exception of their husband and wife, people would draw conclusions from that and say, oh, they're getting a divorce or they're breaking up. Maybe Jess is getting a new Instagram account. And she just decided to unfollow everybody and delete that. And then get a new one. Maybe. Maybe it was an accident. See, the thing is that the people who found this out would have to have done some deep digging to figure all this out. That means probably a couple hours to figure this out. You guys have to be creeping on Logic and his wife's page long enough just to find out that she unfollowed him. But if it is true, it sucks. It really does, because they on the internet it looked great. Maybe there was problems arising behind the scenes that they didn't know about, or that we don't know about, and it's unfortunate. It's different now. Society's very different now. Social media has a bigger presence than ever. I feel like, people can get famous off of just what they post on Twitter or what they post on Instagram. And hey man, if it leads you to a check, by all means, do what you gotta do, but I'd rather put out material, whatever it is, whether it's my podcast, whether it's videos, whether it's books, whether it's tiny film shorts, whatever, and get 1 to 2 views, then put up videos of bashing other people that I don't know personally, and get thousands of views. Views don't bother me. The reason I do this channel is specifically just to express my opinion and using YouTube as an outlet to voice my opinion. Whether 5 people hear it or 5,000 people hear it, I don't care. I'm using YouTube for what it's made for, as an outlet to express yourself, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm expressing myself. We lost Craig Mack last week, or excuse me, this week. I'm recording this on a Saturday at 9:52 p.m. We lost Craig Mack this week, which was very sad. He was only 46. I believe it was of heart failure. The details on the cause of death are very scarce. None are very actual fact. It's sad, you know. What's crazy about the Craig Mack death is that he never performed Flavor in Year. That's the sad part. We lost him on the 12th. It's been 5 days removed. Like I said, he was 46. And and what was crazy is that I didn't know that Craig Mack was a religious person. I just thought that, you know, he tried out the music thing, and, you know, he got famous from it, and, you know, made an amazing song. Shout out to Easy Mo B, one of my favorite producers of all time. He also did Temptation by Tupac. He produced that song, and, you know, I read a lot of stuff on Craig Mack. I mean, how Flava in Year was made, and how Craig Mack didn't originally want to do the song, and Diddy just told him to go in the booth and just rap. Like, this is a beat you just rap on. Easy Mo B was just playing him the song, and, you know, basically they said that we had to drag him in there kicking and screaming just to rap on the song, and it was a hit. It was a hit. I think it was like a top 10 Billboard hit when it came out. And the craziest thing is that Craig Mack was one of the first people to not only get signed by Bad Boy, but to release an album on Bad Boy. And Diddy, and for us to think that Diddy is not a good guy, he's very sort of this controversial figure. I've never thought Diddy as a controversial figure. I thought of Diddy as a great businessman. Diddy's a guy who I look up to because he's a go-getter. He will do anything and everything to complete a task. And that's admirable. That's very admirable. And, you know, he discovered Notorious B.I.G., one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. One of my personal favorites from the Bad Boy regime. And for Diddy to still get lack. I remember as soon as Craig Mack passed away, people were getting on Diddy like, why haven't you posted about Craig Mack? You have to think, Craig Mack was a big deal for Diddy. He not only made money for himself, but he made money for Diddy. If Craig Mack was like the first puzzle piece to be put on the table, if it wasn't the right piece, it would be like a domino effect for the rest of the pieces. It wouldn't just go together. And for Craig Mack to do that for Bad Boy is crazy. And the fact that he only put out like one album is crazy to me. Craig Mack put out only one album that was 11 songs, and that was on Bad Boy. And it was, I think it was called Project Funk. Yep, Project Funk the World. It went gold. It was released September 20th, 1994. Or excuse me, he released a second album called Get Down in 1997. And it was 13 songs featuring Keith Murray. And a couple of other people. This was actually his first project that was off Bad Boy. After he split from Bad Boy. And, you know, this wasn't his best album. It's sad, man, because I felt like if he would have, he had another 2 or 3 hits in him. He could have been a great, which he still is. He still is. Don't get it twisted. But Craig Mack could have had at least 2 to 3 more hits before his passing. And what makes me sad is that he never got to perform the big hit, which was Flava in the Air. It was sampled many times. I mean, the most notable one is the Jennifer Lopez Ja Rule, Ain't It Funny. If you guys ain't that funny, yeah, that was a hit. That was one of my mom's favorite songs. She was a big Jennifer Lopez stan back when she was, really popping. I think while she was dating Diddy, actually. Was she signed to Bad Boy? I think she was signed to Bad Boy. Let's get into the music portion of this Untitled episode, as we got a lot of great albums that dropped this week, as I pull them up as we speak. I mean, we got the XXXTentacion question mark album. It's not, I guess that's what the title of an album is. Just the title of the album is literally just a question mark. It features Joey Badass, Travis Barker, Maddox, and P&B Rock. And I've listened to the song with Joey. I've kind of, went over the tracks on, it's 18 songs, but it's 38 minutes, which is interesting to me. My problem with X is that I feel like he forces emotion too much. While I think that he puts all of his effort into his music, I feel like he is just gonna go down as an emotional artist. Of course he made his hit song that I can't even actually remember at this moment. Look at Me. He had the turn up Look at Me. But then I understand he deals with depression and anxiety, and he expresses it through his music, which is a very great thing, because I guarantee you there's a lot of people who appreciate his music. I appreciate his music because of its message. That it's okay that you have these kinds of problems, and I'm going to go through it with you with this music. I respect that. I really do. We have the highly anticipated Prime 2, from the duo Prime, which is Royce da 5'9" and DJ Premier, the rap DJ / producer duo. This album is 17 tracks long, featuring a good number of artists, which are Davies, Rock Marciano, Yellow Wolf, Rhapsody, Big Crit, 2 Chainz, CeeLo Green, and many more. It If you guys like bars like I do, this is the album for you. If you like boom bap, kind of old school, kind of an old school sound, this is the album that you need to listen to. I'm very impressed. I think it's almost as good as the first one. I think after a couple more listens, I think I'll learn to appreciate it just a little bit more. The next release we have here is Hometown Hero by Trey the Truth. Trey the Truth has been doing incredible things. I don't know if you guys pay attention to his social media, but ever since the hurricane hit Houston, he literally has been doing amazing things, whether it's giving back supplies to people who were affected by this disaster, whether it's fixing houses, buying people groceries, getting people to safety, just helping people out. And for him to even still put out an album is crazy. It features Young Thug, Mozzie, Lil Boosie, T.I., new trap rapper Money Man. I think it's a good project, but I don't think it's the Trey the Truth that we want from since the Truth series, where he put out the Truth Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. We have a personal favorite from mine, which is the Texas Rattlesnake from Houston rapper Les. This is what has been told is an EP that is based off of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was released on 3/16, which anybody who's a wrestling fan knows that 3/16 is, those numbers are not only associated with the Psalm in the Bible of John 3:16, but if you're a wrestling fan, you know what Austin 3:16 means. So it's literally a whole project based off of the vibe and the aura of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, we got Slim Thug and Wes Blanco. It's 11 songs, 33 minutes, great production. It's called Texas Rattlesnake by Les. If you guys can go cop that on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you guys get your music. There's a lot of releases that I didn't get to, but I do want to get to this last one. And that's Rich Homie Quan finally releasing his debut album, Rich as in Spirit. Rich Homie Quan a couple years ago was one of the biggest stars in rap. He came out with Type Away, and then he came out with Walk Through, then he came out with Blah Blah Blah, and then he came out with Flex, and then we don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with him. I think him and his label fell out, which if that's the actual reason that he why his stock kind of plummeted. That's a horrible way to go out. I feel bad for him, I don't think he's ever gonna get. Hopefully, he can get back to that upper echelon that he was with. He did songs with Young Thug. He had a record with Drake stashed in the archives, but that we did not see it on this album. I mean, he had to get a deal with Motown, and just by the time he got his deal and started putting music out, it just was too late. Man, it sucks. It sucks for him, man. I feel for him, I really do. I wish that Rich Homie Quan can get back to what he was what he once was, and that was literally one of the best artists coming out of Atlanta, I believe. So, well, I got on here and rambled for about 35 minutes. So, again, this is the Untitled episode. The song of the day is the one that you've been hearing this entire time, which is Craig Mack, "Flavor in Your Ear." The link will be posted in the description. Yeah. A lot of things we talked about today. Hope I help somebody out today to realize anything. Yeah. So I'm Hunter Foreman. This has been the Flight 96 podcast, and I know the slogan. One love.